The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Jesus opened the eyes of the blind. He gave back to people the gift of sight. Vision is the faculty of sight. It is unusual competence in discernment or perception. That goes beyond looking at a thing. It is looking beyond a thing, looking into a thing, so that you have an unusual competence in the ability to discern what others miss. Webster says that a vision is a mental image produced by the imagination. It's deeper than that, Mr. Webster. He did the best he could. Vision has at its root, as we said on Xavier's Day, an idea. An idea is a well-developed thought. You know, in the comic books, whenever somebody had a brilliant thought or idea, they would put over the head a light, a bulb. That's it, light got turned on in the guy's head. He saw something. He had an idea. But he really didn't have an idea. He had a thought. Because ideas are different from thoughts. Ideas, like thoughts, exist in the mind, potentially or actually as a product of mental activity. You can't have an idea or thought if your mind is not active. Brain waves on a machine that scans the activity of your mind, of your brain, shows an electrical energy in the brain that says this is alive. Electrical energy in the brain allows the brain to do what the brain is designed to do. Create thought, create image, create pictures. Listen, once you have a thought, that is a concept. When you say, sister has conceived, what do you mean? Sister has conceived. What do you mean? She's pregnant, right? Conception is not baby. The conception has all the necessary ingredients to make the baby. But now it needs a period of gestation and growth in the darkness of the womb so that conception becomes a fully developed child, baby, fetus. When thought germinates in the mind. If you don't continue to think on the thought, now I want you to hear me. If you don't continue to think on the thought, then the thought without more thought only is a thought that comes and goes. And you will say when somebody else comes up with the thought but thinks on the thought, they stole my idea. They stole my stuff. They making the money and I ain't got none. Dirty, low-down thief. Wait a minute, fool. You don't have any corner on thought. You don't have any specific corner on imagery. Many of you have good thoughts, but you do nothing about what you think. So the thought was an opportunity that you blew because you didn't do by the thought what you should have done. You got to think on the thought. You have to think on the thought. And thinking on the thought is feeding the thought. Then the thought develops into an idea. And that idea has with it a plan, a scheme, a method of fulfilling and concretizing what was a mental image that had potential, but now you want to actualize what you have envisioned. But if you even develop the idea or the thought into an idea and still will not work the idea, then God will give the idea to somebody else who will fulfill the idea and fulfill the vision brought by the idea. After the thought brings up a concept you've conceived, most people talk the thought, and the thought gets lost. It's like showing the baby before the baby is a baby. Who wants to see a clock but an abortionist? And most times we get a thought, we speak it before we think on the thought. Get it developed. And it must develop in darkness, like the womb of the female, the womb of the mind. Develop your ideas.
Greetings, listeners. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that there is but one God. Welcome to the Black Agenda here on the Street 919 FM on this Easter weekend. I am Brother David Muhammad, and I'm going to be in studio with you up to 9 o'clock. And in a short while from now, I will open up the telephone lines and take your calls on 342-0081 and 466-5391. You can send text messages and WhatsApp messages directly to me on 332-0214. And you could go to the Facebook page of the Street 919 FM, and you should find us online. So, Trinidad and Tobago. Another interesting week. So much has happened, so much continues to happen, but there's one particular dark cloud that's hanging over this nation. And that is centered around the death, the murder of two young 15-year-olds who had escaped from the Children's Authority. 5 young boys on March 19th escaped from the Children's Authority Center, and 10 days later, on March 29th, 2 of the boys, Antonio Francois and Simeon Daniel, both 15 years old, were murdered at a house in Laventil by, according to the report, men wearing police uniforms. And while this story sent out shockwaves throughout the nation, the police issued a statement saying that the boys were shot in gang warfare. Let's put our first bookmark right there. Because, beloved, that is the easiest thing to say in Trinidad and Tobago. It was gang warfare. As we were saying at Juma yesterday, that you could walk across the street in certain areas, get hit by a car, and you could hear it being said it was gang related. A black man could fall down a flight of stairs, injure himself and die, and they'll say it was gang related. However you meet your fate as a black man in this country, if there's any controversy surrounding it with foul play involved, the easiest thing to say is it was gang related. But not this time. There's a deeper, darker, much more sinister story behind this one. I guess enough time has passed now for me to say this that I'm about to say. But as many of you would know, I'm among other things, a university lecturer. And I have so much students from all walks of life. But a lot of my students have been police officers, soldiers, prisons officers, fire officers, nurses, etc. over the years. And I remember 6 years ago getting a message from one of my students with pictures that they sent saying, "Sir," and I'm going to be bold and frank with this. They said, "Sir, we," meaning a patrol that this particular person was on, and I'm not going to say which agency of the protective services they were on. This is a student who used to be in my class every week, sitting in front of me. And of course, I have developed a long-term relationship with hundreds of my students over the years. This one said, "Sir, we just killed the guy who escaped from jail And sir, I'm sending you this because I know you know him. That was Hassan Atwell. Killed by the protective services. And I looked at the pictures. It upset me. That was the prison break in July 2015. And of course, I met Hassan Atwell for the first time in 2011 when I was invited into the prisons to do an address for Father's Day. And what was so interesting about that day, when I was finished my speech, I mean, that was the first time that I spoke at the Port of Spain prison. And it took that long. It took that long, 2011. And for that time after, for one time I was in there every month for at least 3 or 4 years almost, and then the time reduced to less and less. And now with the current arrangement, I haven't been into the prisons in I think at least a year now. And this brother, Hassan Atwell, who was, say, one of the leading figures among the Muslims in the prison, when I finished my speech, he came up to the front and he said, nah, I have to do this, I have to do this. And he broke protocol and he came and he hugged me and he shook my hand and he said, Brother Muhammad. And of course the prison officers, they say, no, you can't have that. But they gave him his moment. And he told me about his son, who, as the country knows, is Nikolai Edwards, who ran for the political party in South, I think it's the People's Empowerment Party. I know there are 2 of them, or 2 parties with similar names. Brilliant young man, university graduate, young scholar, very bright, very intelligent. And Hassan Atwell told me about his son back then. And I did make contact with him about that time. I think his son would have been maybe 15 or 16 or 17. That's Nikolai Edwards. But there was this prison break in 2015, as you would remember. Alan Scanney Martin, Hassan Atwell, and a third individual by the name of Monster. The third individual returned to the prison. But let's get back to the point. One of my students who's working with the protective services said to me, sir, they just killed this man and I know you knew him. So I'm letting you know in advance, out of courtesy and respect. My student informed me of that. I don't think you can try and find out who it is. I have so much. And then, beloved, Trinidad, think. Trinidad, think. Trinidad, I'm begging you, think. I saw on the news the next day that Hassan Atwell was killed in some gang warfare. And even though I knew I could not trust the system, even though I knew they lie, even though I knew that their culture is covering up the evil that they do, I knew that. But here I was, first hand in the middle of this situation. And I thought to myself, damn, look at what they did. Look at what they did. Killed a man. And then just said it was gang related. It was gang warfare. He was in a shootout. You just break out of jail, run up into the hills, obviously go into your comfort zone. it was a shootout. When you broke out of jail with a gun? All right, let's not get into that. And then all of those memories came right back when these two young men, both 15 years old, Antonio Francois and Simeon Daniel, were both killed allegedly by men in police uniform. And then what do we hear? Oh, it was gang related. No. And a liar is always a dangerous person. But you see, when it comes to East Port of Spain and Laventille right now, where the gang war is more or less, the borderline aspect of it is more or less over. It is finished. But you still want to push these lies about gang related to kind of aggravate or agitate more conflict when it doesn't exist. We already know about the culture of police picking up a gang member from one area, putting him in their vehicle, taking him to another area in the hope that he is killed or shot or injured. So understand, some of them don't want there to be peace at all. Those are the devils in between. Some of them do not want peace in the community at all. So much so that if there is peace, they will do what they can to foment war again. And when you do your evil deeds on the street and then try to cover it up by saying it was gang war, there are consequences for that. When we started building the Kwame Ture Center 6 years ago now, another student of mine, because I was a teacher, a young teacher at Success Laventille RC, from age 20, I was appointed when I was 22 years old there. I became a school teacher when I was 19. I was appointed there at age 22. I'd just come back from spending 2 years in England. And I was there till I was 26. That was in the 1990s. And then 6 years ago, when we started building the Kwame Ture Center, I saw one of my old students, who was now a grown woman, walking across the street right outside our, what became our building, because at the time, of course, there was nothing there. And I saw her and we stopped. She said, "Sir, we catching up on old times." And she had a baby in her hand and a bag with food. And she said she was going over to the Beetham to take food for the father of the child that she was holding because he could not cross there. He could not come over there because of the gang war. We put up a sign on the wall, hand-painted, saying Islam stands for peace, Rasta stands for love, and it's impossible for peace and love to be at war with each other unless it's not real peace or it's not real love. Both of them have their roots in Ethiopia. Let us unite, put down the guns and the drugs, pick up a book, get knowledge, get conscious, because we are one African family. 6 years later, well, we've put the sign of the building over that because that message served its purpose. 6 years later, there is no borderline gang war in Laventille. It simply does not exist anymore. Let me give you another example of something. There's one particular brother from the Beetham who has been calling into the black agenda years before I was even on this radio station. We're talking about more than 10 years ago on another radio station. This brother lived a stone throw away, literally a stone throw away from where we are, but across one of these borderlines. Imagine, we have been occupying the land where the Kwame Ture Center is for going on 6 years. Listen to what I'm saying. We've been occupying that space for going on 6 years. And this brother, who has been one of our biggest supporters of the Black Agenda Project for more than 10 years, lives a stone throw away. And in his mind, I say with respect to him, could not come over to the home of an organization that he loved and supported for years. That brother visited our building for the first time a few months ago. Yesterday at Juma, we had two young brothers come across from there. Again, wouldn't have even crossed that space more than a year ago. So that gang warfare has been erased. I'm not saying that there's still not crime. Well, there is all across the country now, as has been the case. I'm not saying that other parts of the country, there aren't those borderlines, but in Laventille, they are gone. Two people get in conflict with one another. It's not over that. It could be over something else, but not that. I'm not telling you what I read in a book. I'm telling you what I see, what I observe, where I walk every day. I don't rely on any second or third or fourth hand information. I'm down there on the ground in person myself. So if two 15-year-olds escape from a Children's Authority home and they're killed, and you want to try to encourage the whole country to turn a blind eye to this by saying it was gang related, well, there was one time where you could have passed that off on us, but no more. There was one time where you could have sold us that story. But your lies are dangerous lies. Your lies have consequences. So, from this, and I want to open up the lines, but from this episode with the Children's Authority came a shocking, horrifying, dreadful story of some of the worst kinds of abuse of young boys. And now a hypothesis is that because that abuse has been taking place for so long, in such an intense and severe form of it, with no redress, no justice, no hint of a stop being put to it. And it has been so consistent, so continuous. And issues of sexuality have become part of the conversation, which is another conversation for another time outside of this one. But with all of that abuse that has taken place, and then for alleged victims of that abuse to escape and to be out there with the possibility or probability of going to the media and sharing their story that we are 15 years old, but we have been victims of this, we've been victims of that, we have been victims of these most dreadful forms of abuse. Before they get a chance to get to the media, let's kill them. Wait, put a bookmark there too. Because when I first heard that, you know what came to my mind? You know which country came to my mind? Brazil. What about Brazil? I remember years ago, when I began my research on this. And speaking of that, let me announce that my newest book, my second major book, Black Youth at Risk, From Juvenile Delinquency to Criminal Gang Activity, will be launched, inshallah, on Saturday, May the 1st at the Kwame Ture Center from 2 o'clock. And the book is costing $300, which is way below value, but I'm also, and this is going to be another story again, I'm publishing in Trinidad. All of my books before have been shipped in by the thousands from overseas. Some across the Atlantic Ocean, but some across the Pacific Ocean. It's a lot more expensive to publish in Trinidad, but we are working with a brilliant black-owned publishing company, and I'll tell you more about them. But May the 1st at the Kwame Ture Center, 2 p.m., and that book, 15 chapters, 411 pages, over 250 references, all about our youth and their struggle, juvenile delinquency, the prison system, gang activity, the drug trade, violence, the psychological damage done to African children through the school system, the educational curriculum, the racism in the schools, the white-collar crime that scapegoats black youth. But the country that I thought of when I first heard this story of these two young men being killed was Brazil. And the street children problem that they had in Brazil. You know, they had a gang of children, street children in Brazil called the piranhas. And you see, the piranhas were bad for tourism. And remember, these capitalist societies, they hold in such high esteem the rich, the wealthy, the whites, the elites. And when a government gets elected into office, whatever they can do to serve that bourgeoisie elite, they don't care if they have to trample on 1,000 poor citizens to protect one elite citizen. Under capitalism, that is how it's done. But in this country, with an extra special preference for some of the local whites, in particular the Syrians, and that is coupled with a disdain and contempt and a neglect and abandonment of the black masses in this country. That's the culture of this country. That is more Trinidad and Tobago than Carnival is. That mistreatment and disregard of the black population by the state. And in Brazil, because those street children were bad for business, they used to just kill them off at will. Didn't have to answer any questions, didn't have to account to anyone. No one cared. When I heard about the killing of those two 15-year-olds who escaped from the Children's Authority, that was the first country that came to mind, Brazil. And then when I heard them give this bogus talk about gang-related, that's when my mind went back to Hassan Atwell and my student at the university who messaged me and told me that the police just killed this man. They sent pictures, and then the next day on the news, I heard it was gang-related. There's an expiry date on that lie, beloved. So, honestly, I don't think this should be too difficult to investigate. Because even if it was gang-related, you still have a lot of investigations to carry out regarding the abuse in that place. So let's say it was gang-related. Let's say these two 15-year-olds were Rasta going after Muslims, or Muslims going after Rasta, or just crossed some borderline that isn't there anymore, and there was a big shootout, and one of the gangs who are accustomed carrying out their deeds and however they do it, all of a sudden decided to put on these police uniforms to go and kill these. Let's say all of that was true. That does not excuse you from going to investigate cases of abuse of these boys. And if you are a victim of that kind of abuse in one of these homes, it would take a bit more than just saying in the media, please come back. Please come back. Please come back to what? Listen, I'm sure if we do a survey, most people would prefer to live in a ditch, live in a drain, live in some house without running water or electricity, to live in some shack with hardly enough food, than to go back to a place where you're being physically and sexually and verbally abused constantly. Why should you go back? Are we giving an assurance that there's going to be an investigation so that I don't go back straight to my abusers? You're asking me to volunteer to be a victim? No, fix the system first. And having said that, let me also say that many of the people at these children's homes and these children's authorities are people who have so much love in their spirit, who have dedicated their lives to making life better for our children who find themselves in these kinds of situations. It's not an easy work. I can tell you something for sure. It's a thankless job. It's a job where you give so much of yourself with so little appreciation. So we still have to salute the good ones in the system who have committed themselves to making life better for these youth. But there is also a very unfortunate fact about that work. And that is, there are always predators and pedophiles and abusers who are looking for opportunities. But, in this particular situation right here, it doesn't look like it will be too hard to investigate. 342-0081, 466-5391. So let's go straight to the phones. Yeah, I know the time was always on a Saturday morning. I mean, we're still adjusting to the Saturday, more or less a Sunday. Remember, we're on Sundays now as well. Black Agenda is only on the weekends, Saturday mornings, 7 to 9, Sunday afternoons, 4 to 6. So let's go to the phone lines.
Morning.
Caller, good morning.
Morning, brother.
Good morning.
And to your listeners, I really like this preamble this morning because the moment I heard them fellas run away, that is what crossed my mind. Children don't run away from home where they will get a cornflakes and they had a laptop or they had a tablet and everything good and everything cool and the parents keeping them good and children do not run away from home where things are good. And most times they run away from abuse. Young children, that's most times they're doing crazy with the abuse. They can't take it no more. They tell a parent to believe them. They try to talk to people, nobody want to hear them. People like it. They reacting miserably. I just always say a miserable child is a language that they're speaking, you know. Those horribly miserable children that doing things all over the place, I've come to understand that is a language. They're trying to say something. And you are so correct. And you come and you kind of confirm a thought in terms of, you know, you put it in perspective. It was vague for me, but you really put it in perspective because it really don't have nothing taking place. All them brothers and them link up. I so proud that every time you talk that, I'm a pauses race. Every time you talk that, them fellas just come across the brother David. Tears just come in my eyes. The progress the brothers and them make with this borderline thing. My car just working from a drive through love until now and taking the view. You understand? Tears just come to my eye and them brothers and I'm proud of them. And only keep it up. And don't find no reason to start back that nonsense. And keep linking up and thing. And you're correct. Investigate the bloody abuse that is happening in these places. And it's true. Because it does attract educated pedophiles. Educated, nasty people. And they just be treating each other and them horrible lives why they just running away too. They're not interested in development, they're interested in their own aggrandizement. How they just deal with these things and the authorities need to. Alright? Well, they had the gang-related story, right, good. Go in that home and investigate it now. Regardless who coming with a decent voice and interviewing and sidestepping and songing nice and this and that and the other. You're talking about how they escape, but the reason is why. Why would children want to escape somewhere where they are being treated? You know, what kind of treatment they're running away from? Can it be good treatment that they're running away from? So I love how the direction is going this morning. But David has a little side note before I go. Well, you know it has different, okay, knowledge it has super frequencies out there, right? It's like radio station frequencies. It depends on what you tune into that you will pick up, right? It depends on what you're interested in and you will pick up whatever frequencies out there. But everything mixed up into one, right? There are some of us that think earthly, some of us just think materially, some of us think spiritually. Right now, the way how the world is, to be honest with you, the internet has everything. And there's a school of thought out there among the cosmic thinkers. Now, I'm not singing nobody and you know, everybody can criticize and have what they say what they have to say. But among the cosmic thinkers, there are people who think as a whole, because you know you had the solar system, then you had the galaxies, and then you have galaxies going on, galaxies, you have other systems going on, other systems. There are people who concentrate on these things. And there's a school of thought that in this galaxy, that the black people on Earth is the last set of black people on Earth in the galaxy. You know, I just say it's a little food for thought, and you know, because I just be looking for answers as to why there is this consistent, you know, hatred towards the African people, the systemic hatred, the depth of hatred that it have. And to be honest with you, black people out there, you know, there's a reference called being close to source. Our ability to identify with God and put godly things to existence, that is what other races missing. And there are people who are not, their agenda is to keep the black person from discovering the true spirituality and the true nature of his existence. Thank you, brother.
Right, well, thank you so much. Good morning, caller.
No, I'm blessings.
Blessings, brother.
strength and unity among our togetherness and love about teaching African people. And I African really find it necessary. But we have to keep on fighting against the wickedness and the spiritual demons and all the powers that be, that promote evil. Come to the Father, give him thanks. Because all this kind of system is long time the children been abused in these homes and these penitentiaries. We know that. The world know that. There's nothing new. And the more you talk about it, the more it happens, but it just keep popping up. It's something that just pop up. I send out my condolences to the youth parents, and it's very, very heartbreaking and devastating. And it needs a proper investigation.
Yeah.
But how come the police could investigate the police? Although the ordinary. But the internal affairs is internal affairs. My brother, I love Rastafari.
Thank you, my brother. It's too easy in our society to tell certain lies, to cover up certain facts. Caller.
Morning, Brother Mohammed.
Yes, good morning. We have a break coming up in some seconds, but go ahead.
Well, I don't want to say, why would somebody dress up to kill two young men? And first, the community ain't saying that what the police saying ain't so. But Brother Mohammed, there's a man called something Green. Is it Noah Green? Did you see that incident?
You know, I could have relied on you to bring that
I
up.
would like to know him. Why would you? Of course, because that is breaking news this
Yes,
morning.
it is breaking news. I'll talk about that in the second
I would
hour.
have thought our conversation this morning would have been denying any link to
Oh,
that.
good God. All right, thanks, sir. We have a break coming up. I'll talk about it. Thank you.
We're in the backyard right now. The art form, right? Starts in the backyard, right? So may you see what we gonna do? We gonna get them rhythm, right? Rhythm when you ready to go? Let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go. What? Bing, 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 bing. Hey, bing, bing. Nice. Section 2. Join in with this one. This one. Hey. Nice. Section 3. Sweet. This is the section 3. Here it is again. Bring friends and bring your friends and bring friends and all life together. Yes, this I know.
Hold on.
Looking for a safe and relaxed professional massage therapist and nutritionist? Look no further. Nature's Touch with Empress Judy and Associates offers a natural approach to better health. Treat yourself to a professional massage therapy and nutrition advice in a safe and relaxed atmosphere. Rejuvenate your body, mind, and soul at Nature's Touch Therapy. For an appointment, please call or WhatsApp 1-868-398-8282 or visit our Facebook page. Remember, your health is our responsibility at Nature's Touch.
That perfect smile, beauty in every aisle to take care of your body. We have all you need to stay healthy. Yeah, more to love. Yes, it's true. Pennywise, just for you.
Pennywise gives you more to love.
You know that feeling when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of our secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control. All so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with a big bucket from KFC. 9 pieces of chicken and 4 regular size for only $115.
What cleans, degreases, removes stains, kills bacteria, and gives you that long-lasting freshness? Meet Ozon's 6-in-1 multi-purpose disinfectant cleaner. The power of Ozon.
We care for your eyes. That's why Value Optical recommends world-leading transitions lenses that protect your eyes from blue light and 100% of UV rays. They automatically adapt to changing light conditions, making life simpler and more comfortable for your eyes every day. Now available in 4 new style colors for you to personalize any frame and express your style. Value Optical, caring for your eyes.
Better vision for your physical eyes, and through the eyes of faith, let healing arise in your mind, body, and spirit. At Natural Healing Ministries, we teach kingdom principles for living that brings the blessing of God to your mind, body, and soul.
NHM Professional Associates are located at number 10 Moody Stewart Street, Monterey Post, San Fernando. For more info, contact Dr. Desmond Phillip at NHM on 349-3494.
NHM Professional Associates can be heard live on the Street 919 FM every Saturday from 9:05 to 9:55 a.m.
When you text on the Street 919 FM, you can win weekly fabulous prizes. Text to win. Using your B-Mobile or Digicel handset, text your name to 9191, which allows you to win. One winner will be selected every Friday at 5 p.m. Listen, text and win. You can also view live streams on Facebook at The Street 919 FM and YouTube at The Street 919 FM. Text to win on The Street 919 FM.
Greetings and blessing in the name of our wonderful Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I'm Valentine Garcia.
And I'm Nikki Garcia. And we would like to invite you to listen to the Final Hour broadcast every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 in the morning on the Street 919 FM radio.
Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. Our church is situated at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. Services on Sunday are from 8:30 a.m. for Sunday school and 9:30 a.m. for morning worship.
Please be sure to tune in and prepare to be blessed.
My life, I lay it on the altar as my life. You know that that feeling when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC, a substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of our secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control, all so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with a big bucket from KFC. 9 pieces of chicken and 4 regular size for only $115.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. Brotherhood is obligatory.
Black man get up, black man stand up, black man you better listen.
So there's a need for brotherhood.
Black man get up, black man stand up, black man you better listen. Black man get up, black man stand up, black man you better listen.
Brotherhood is demanded.
Black man get up, black man stand up, black man you better listen.
Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. Brotherhood is obligatory. Brotherhood is essential, it is urgent, and it is compulsory. But the time demands brotherhood. Whenever the dominant white society fears for its economic future, racial tensions are always aggravated. The aim of Almighty God is to bring the black man and woman together. The aim of Almighty God is that we, no matter how divided we have been in the past, must experience unity in order to gain the success that we seek and the progress that we desire. There is no way that a divided people can build a future.
Welcome back and welcome to the second hour of the Black Agenda here on the Street 919 FM. We're going up to 9 o'clock. And let me just address this issue that last caller brought up. And I have to say to you, caller, you're such a mischief maker. And you're so negative. That is why when you brought up that, I said, that particular caller, always with that spirit, would have had to be the one to bring that up. So what the caller was, I'd say, trying to distract us with was the fact that yesterday in the news in America, there was a black man who, I don't have the full story, I actually have a clip from CNN here, but the audio is not very good. So I'll play the full report from what CNN said, but you might not be able to hear it too well. Let's see.
Well, Aaron, what we're learning is a disturbing portrait of this suspect. His name is Nathan Green, And just in the hours and in days before this attack, he was posting on social media, including Facebook and Instagram, talking, as you said, about the government having some kind of mind control on him. There's one that he posted just about 2 hours, less than 2 hours before before he was shot and killed there. He said that he had posted pictures and videos of the Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan, and he said the U.S. government is the #1 enemy of black people. He talked about how he had afflictions that he had suffered, presumably from the CIA and the FBI. And one comment, after one commenter made comment on his posting, he said, quote, I have suffered multiple home break-ins, food poisonings, assaults, unauthorized operations in the hospital, mind control. Again, a portrait of someone who's deeply disturbed.
All right, so that's a major trending story in the United States right now, that a black man apparently ran a vehicle into some of the, I don't have all the details, but basically a black man carried out an act where he killed one of the American police officers or special forces officers. And, of course, when things like this happen in America, they do a whole background check on the individual. And on this black man's Facebook page and so on, he admired Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam, and he had an interest in the nation. And so, how am I supposed to respond to that? As we've gone over this hundreds of times before, is it that if someone commits a crime, you find out the religion of that person, and then you implicate the religion of that person in the crime? Happens all the time with Muslims. But if someone robs a bank, and that person is a member of the Catholic Church, you don't implicate the Catholic Church in the robbery of that bank. If someone carries out a kidnapping, and they are a Pentecostal, you don't implicate the Pentecostal Church in the kidnapping that took place. If someone commits a murder, and they're a Methodist or an Anglican or a Seventh-day Adventist or a Jehovah's Witness, you don't hold their religious institution under investigation for that. So here this man had an interest in the Nation of Islam, but he also clearly had a number of other issues and problems that would have led him to perpetrate an act that the Nation of Islam condemns and stands against. So he would have been inspired by one part of the message, that black people in modern society are still victims of the lingering institutionalized racism that was established after slavery and colonialism, and there still remains racial inequality within capitalist society. That is a fact. So he would have got that part of the message, but the other part of the message that he may have missed is that the solution to our problems does not lie in us taking lives of other peoples who were the ancestors of those who started our issues for us, but the solution to our problems lies in us organizing ourselves, uniting, forming skills banks and think tanks, pooling resources, collectively becoming powerful economically, and then controlling the destiny of our children through establishing our own educational systems. And further socially putting down the guns, putting down the drugs, putting down the alcohol, getting knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, starting to live like families, men taking care of their children, us getting married and forming unions among each other, forgiving one another for our transgressions and moving forward in building and developing as a community and as a nation. Those are the solutions, but clearly our brother did not see things that way and decided to carry out a violent act against state officers. So what is your purpose of calling in on this radio program on this Saturday morning to ask me to talk about that? What do you want me to say? Do you want me to say that the organization that I am a part of have been these secret terrorists for the last 100 years, and this act that took place yesterday is this big uncovering or expose. What do you expect me to say? Minister Louis Farrakhan has tens of millions of black people listening to him all over the world. Remember, this is a man who came through this region and everywhere in the Caribbean. He went to 12 Caribbean nations. I was with him in 7 or 8 of them. And in every Caribbean nation, the president or the prime minister of the country rolls out the red carpet for him. He meets with both the leader of the opposition and the prime ministers, and he is admired, respected as a head of state because he has united black people in America to have the impact of a country bigger than any English-speaking Caribbean nation. This is a man who led 2 million black men in the Million Man March. So is it that someone who heard his voice and admires him, who commits an act, that you're going to hold him and everyone who listens to him accountable? I mean, those are like old tricks. It's the same mischief you did when something we were talking about a Syrian family in Trinidad that has monopolized the control of the 3 vaccines for COVID-19 that have been approved by the World Health Organization. We're talking about that one Syrian family has monopolized these businesses that control the distribution of those vaccines. And a black man would call into the radio and say, but what about William Monroe, who collected $100 for the Black Caucus? You're sick. I mean, chances are the next time we speak, my patients will be back in order. But as it stands now, you're sick, brother. And unfortunately, a lot of our people who follow that kind of politics end up mentally diminishing themselves, groveling like slaves on hands and knees, begging for crumbs to fall off a table, living with a mentality that I will sell myself out for anything to anyone, no matter what it takes, if my political party can be made to appear in order. Don't do that, brother. Don't do that. So that brother who did that act in America yesterday, who crashed his van into the... I feel it for the brother. Because in his communication, apparently he said his home was broken into many times and he was poisoned or whatever the case may be. But what he did is not what we teach. And our organization has no record of leading those kinds of acts, even though as an organization we have the power to perpetrate that kind of mentality, but we don't. Because while some may believe in breaking others down, we believe in building ourselves up. But you, caller, you believe in breaking your own people down because you do it so chronically. So, for more details on that, you can go to CNN, Fox, CBS, ABC, MSNBC. It's trending on the major news networks. But remember, in America, there's a mass shooting almost every day. Almost every day. And so this incident, what was different about it was that it was a black man. All right, so let's go back to the phone lines. 342-008-14665-391. Caller, good morning.
Brother Mohammed.
Yes, sir.
Mr. PNM inside. Oh, God, you see that caller who called you? It's a plenty of them, that last caller. They will do anything or be negative to one another. Brother Mohammed.
But he's a Mr. PNM too, you know.
No, well, I got the friend PNM.
Oh, all right, okay, good.
I good. Before Mr. PNM. I know my cousin. Yeah, plenty of bad manners.
Good.
But here what I'm saying now, Brother Mohammed, that shooting, the police and them have to investigate that thoroughly, and that home we will be lobbying for them that to be properly investigated. That home with them children is because abuse is not even Mr. Alexander. I know I don't like advantage and abuse. I know that personally. But hear me. Yesterday, on another program on the same station, Mrs. Wells' program, we were talking about African people and PNM and UNC, and they know she had a little politics going on. So I called and I said that how African people, we are moving up. We came here as slaves. Other comers and dental laborers, and we have made so much progress. I mean, yes, it's had a little delinquent youths in some areas and so on, but when they do something, you can't aspersion on an entire race.
Yep.
But hear me now. I told them that the 5 top positions in this country is dominated by African men, and I started to talk the progress we're making. We have lawyers, judges, permanent secretaries in ministries, and going right across the board. And you said a so-called gentleman called in Aisha program and started blast race, pure racism talk. And Aisha had to ban him off a program for a whole week. But I'm going to tell you where they're coming from, brother. Let me wrap it up. It has some people in this country, from the time African people started to talk love and unity and getting together and start to acknowledge the power we have, a lot of other races start to get antsy, they start to get antagonized by it. So that man called in and makes some blatant racial statement until I started to cut him off and ban him from people.
But let me, racial against African people?
Against African people, and he started to talk about how it's Indian and they who are thing and African people stupid, and Aisha had to ban. Aisha gets so upset she had to ban this fella. But here what hurt him is when I call and I let them know how African people have been making progress and steady, but surely we making progress as a people and as a unit. And here now, you see that this topic you're talking this morning, they don't like to hear that. They don't want to hear when you start to talk about African people come together, unite, do things together as one, put down the gun, and the progress we making it hurt some of these people and them. So they always try to call in and divide. And what about this one? And what? Talking of upliftment of African people, that is what I'm going to go call in this morning and say. When them fellas and them sick, some of them sick, I PNM, I Mr. PNM, and I for my people, I look for my people, I Mr. African before Mr. PNM, and I'm a strong supporter of the PNM. I make no apology for saying that. But at the end of the day, Brother Mohammed, you understand? Or they want to come, other races want to compete with me. We start at the back, we start last. You understand? Why they want to compete with the French girl in this country or the Syrian, but they always want to be on the African man back. But here what no, they want to take it in other ways because here what we are doctors. We are doctors like Dr. Trustman, Dr. Benjamin, so much good doctors, attorneys at law, permanent secretary, president, prime minister, chief justice, DPP, governor, central bank, Mr. Halia. Good morning to you, Mr. Halia. Right? Good morning to my good prime minister, Dr. Rowley. I want to politicize it, but at the end of the day, keep up the good work, Brother Mohammed, and keep pushing for our people to unite. From the time you start to say unite, you start to watch as a racist and a troublemaker. Hell no! We going with it, we started strong, Brother Mohammed. Mr. Pierre, them locked on and listen, my brother. Good program as usual.
Thank you, my brother, for your positive vibes as usual. Caller, good morning.
Morning, Brother Mohammed. I believe you have a wrong concept of my asking of the question.
Oh gosh.
Yes, because I don't see how this reads down to my political affiliation.
But you're always doing that. Listen, I'm not prepared. But one second. If we're gonna do this, let's take it. No, hold on, please, sir. 10 minutes?
Yes.
No.
But go ahead.
I'm not so sure
about me, you know.
I could. No, I don't think so.
I come to defend myself.
All right, but hear what?
And wait,
hold on. What is this? Wait, and listen, please. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can.
Right. You most certainly do deserve an opportunity to defend yourself. Absolutely. But this opinion was not just formulated from this conversation or this and the last conversation. There has been, to me, a consistent pattern from you
Right.
of pure negativity.
Oh, no.
Wait 1 second. Let's walk through this, please, because
you did that already.
did what already?
You outlined it. You even took me back to the discussion about the incident about the vaccine.
Right, because this is my interaction with you. I'm not going to base my opinion on things that you've said in other conversations with other people. I'm basing my perception on things that you've said on this program.
So please allow me.
No, I'm not so sure. So hear what I'm saying to you. Hear what I'm saying to you, right? I am saying, yes, you deserve an opportunity to defend yourself, but I'm saying to you that in this program, with our limitations of time, with the heavy volume of callers who are trying to get in, I'm not prepared to give you an open discourse to do that, but you will have the opportunity to do that in your regular call-ins like every other listener to the program, okay? So we'll do this over time, but not now. But thank you for your call anyway. Caller, good morning.
Yes, morning, brother Mohammed.
Yes, good morning, sir.
What I like to say is that without people in this country for years now, right? They have a hidden agenda concerning, right, the African race in this country. And a lot of people they shy away from that. They doesn't even want to mention African people. But it is the facts, and people don't like to hear the facts at all, right? And they don't like to understand that. And their agenda is to destabilize the African race all the time. You know? And every time you come up with something good and positive, you always want to carry us down and bring us down. But you can't stop people from rising. It will take 1,000 years. They have to rise. You understand? Because it's not just doing, that is he doing and the Lord. And if he say people have to rise, they have to rise. That is one. Two, you cannot have a police service, right? Whereby the emblem on the clothes is a skull, right? A skull signifies death, right?
A skull?
Right?
Oh, a skull or the star of the Jewish Star of David?
Well, all of that too, but the skull in particular. If you look on the SWAT officers and them, right? Look on their clothes. The uniform, they have a skull on the uniform, right? You must observe it carefully, right? And that is something you can't mix good and bad together in a society. Anytime you have a society and you're trying to correct one side of the society and you're trying to say, all right, I want to do good on this side, yes, I want to do, that can't mix, you understand? It come like you have a pot with water, dirty water, right? And you're trying to get it clean, right? And no matter what you do, you're only putting back the dirtiness in it. But you're trying to make it clean at the same time. And all these things we have to look at, right? And these children and them, we have to get the root cause of why it is they are running away from these homes and them.
Well, I think we already know why these particular boys ran away. Because, it's a series of social media interactions over this, apparently among the peers of those boys. And there has been some very vocal, graphic, and explicit accounts of some of what they would have suffered in the homes. And what is interesting about this as well is the strength of the opinions that a lot of these young people have. I remember when I was that age, because the thing is, and like I say, we're being frank about it, sexuality is an issue in this scenario. Apparently, some of the young boys identify themselves as gay or homosexual, and that has caused some conflict, and it would have also opened up channels of abuse. Now, some of the others, the peers of those who are already outside of the home, seem to be taking a position that they are prepared to defend themselves as a separate category of marginalized young people. And, they're pushing this narrative that, look, we are this way, but we are not going to accept being abused for that. And, from that angle, those young people have a strong point. That, yes, they may be different, or they may be of whatever orientation or inclination or influence or behavior, but there's no right to abuse them for their difference, to victimize them and deny them of their rights because of whatever situation they're in. And they are formulating some very strong opinions about that. You see, and that's what's taking it into, a direction where it looks like they will probably, in a collective way, really come out and challenge what's been happening if they're not seeing themselves getting redress from the state.
But I think they need also to, you see, we have a mentality in Trinidad here for years now. We believe that if we have to get advice on something, the foreign, we'll employ somebody from foreign, and that will be superior. And they getting the same advice here from the locals here. We have very brilliant people here, because if you look anywhere in Trinidad and Tobago, right, and you go anywhere in the world, you're meeting a Trini. And most of them in leading positions, you understand? Scientists, you name it, you understand? And for years and years, I can't understand why it is those in authority cannot realize that and come to a realization, right? It's like, there is a lot of discussion concerning that needs to take place concerning that.
Yeah.
Right? But I also like to ask that sometime in the future you to do a program, especially on the Aboriginal people in Australia.
Yes. Did you ask me that? Did you ask me that before? Did you ask me that before?
A long time back, but
right.
That is something that I just look at too, and they go through a lot of abuses from these Europeans and them in Australia for years now. Yeah. Right? And being denied opportunities and all these kind of things like that. So, it's just something I like to throw out at here again,
Yes, sir.
But not straying from the topic, we're talking about now, but which is very important. But thanks a lot.
Yes, sir. Thank you, my brother. Remember, we're launching the book, Black Youth at Risk, From Juvenile Delinquency to Criminal Gang Activity, on Saturday, May the 1st at the Kwame Ture Center from 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And what's really special about that day is it's also African Expo number 7. So we're combining those two events. The African Expo, as normal, will be running throughout the day from 10 o'clock in the morning straight through to 7 o'clock in the evening. But the book launch is going to be in the separate conference room, and that will be from 2 p.m. So exactly a month away. And I mean, the book has so much content. So over time, we'll be sharing bits and pieces of it. But a lot of what I've been sharing on the gang situation, the drug trade, white-collar crime, that's from one of the chapters. But like I said, 1 month away. And we also have something else to announce, which I'll announce within about a month from now. Because we're working on something, beloved. We're working on something. Also, the second year of the lessons program at the Kwame Ture Center is starting first week in May, but we're having the orientation on this Friday at the Kwame Ture Center. So, I mean, all the new students that have signed up, we welcome everyone. We're going to say farewell to those who are outgoing, those who are going on to do exams, and of course, young people, bright young people, many not just taking lessons, but also involved in the organization. And that is really who we have to look out for, the young people. All right, and I'll say this too, around the time of the Andrea Barrett issue. And, the vigils and the marches that took place. There was a conversation in our office at the Kwame Ture Center where a young brother was 22 years old. He was in the office, and there was a discussion. I actually wasn't part of that particular discussion, but a discussion was taking place about the marches for the protection of our young sisters, which of course we support 100%. But our young brother said, but who's going to march for me? He said, because as a young black man, I am still the highest probable statistic to be killed. He says, I will go and march for anyone else's safety, for everyone's safety. He said, but who's going to march for me? Because as a 22-year-old black man in Trinidad and Tobago, your likelihood of being killed is higher than any other category. And the thing is, if we are to meet that fate, then if there's foul play involved, chances are our demise could be dismissed. They could just say, that was gang war. That was gang conflict. Or there was a shootout. He had a gun and he was shooting at someone. You could lose your life innocently. And some story be fabricated to say that you're the one who were culpable in the loss of your own life. And from back then, when he said that conversation would have been maybe about a month ago. Here we have these two 15-year-old boys killed. And those who call for the marches, and those who lead the marches, and those who are into the business of doing the whole protests and so on, I don't think that they will have equal interest in the lives of these two African boys. Well, what about you, Brother David? Why don't you lead a march? That's not what we do. We organize on the ground level. And we bring in the youth and teach and train and develop them. That's our work. That's what we're doing. It's not what we're thinking about or planning. It's what we're doing. And we don't do it with a check from the government or a big donation. We're organized, networked, and structured. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, our bank is the love that black people have in their hearts for the work that we're doing. So for as long as we keep working, then we will be able to continue the mission. Kola, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
How are you doing?
I am good.
Excellent.
Taking all into consideration. And as you speak of the people that march and so, there is a deafening silence in this situation. That's how I see it. By the media houses, by the people in responsible positions.
You see, the media will just quickly report it was gang related and then move on to the next story.
Yes, but this is what I'm saying. The investigative journalism, that is the key thing that is missing here. Calling them men while you're reading out that they died, calling them 15-year-old children men, that the media will do and would highlight that it's gang related. But nobody is coming out and giving any kind of a report on anything. All you hearing is a set of hearsay things. Where are the people who supposed to speak for these institutions? Nobody is saying anything. The children that have escaped, are they still out there in fear for their lives? And I keep saying that I cannot take this vision out of me of these children running for their lives with the police or whoever it is behind them.
And that is another important point, because they're being asked to come back. But I think that they need to be told, all right, we have dealt with that issue of abuse, so you can come back now. Or we have removed those individuals who are responsible for the abuse, so you can come back now. Or we've solved that problem, now you can come back. But to ask them to come back without any assurance, so what am I coming back to?
To a bullet, because that's what they got when they ran away. Nobody in a position of say to, well, listen, you all are safe. Come on out and we will talk and we will fix this. All you just hearing is these children running for their lives in a place like this. This is serious. And when you talk about the children of Brazil, they came to mind too.
Yeah, the piranhas.
They came to mind, yes, when the thing first started.
They just say, I mean, the government back then said, look, this is bad for tourism.
Yeah.
So let's just kill them off.
And the business, and it was a gruesome thing, and it was a killing field, you know. It was terrible. I remember this was in the 90s too here in Trinidad. They had this street children thing. And a friend gave me a story that I seriously didn't believe it until I heard it in the news. She said to me, there is this elderly woman at the time, I'm sure that woman probably passed on, in Belmont, who used to take care of children kind of, I think she was the kind of mother in the area. And she was taking care of her nephews, who their mother was abroad. I would try to be quick. And she said that some little boys from the area went downtown looking for work, and they asked him in places and so on. And this Chinese man called them and told them he could help them and so on. Took them to a place, I think that she said was on South Key. And the little boys and them, he said when they pushed the place was like a bar place, and then behind there and whatnot and whatnot. When they get inside of there, the man tell them, wait here, I'm coming just now. And the place was dark. But the curiosity, one of them pushed a door. And when he pushed a door, he saw children, little boys in cages. And that child bolted from there straight back to Belmont and went to this woman and told her the story. And when they called the police, apparently they were saying that the police knew about it. And that went on right here in Trinidad. And that happened, and you know, that just went when she told me, then it came out on the news that this street children thing and these people used to say, and there was also talk saying that they used to take them and make snuff movies. You know, and this is going on here, and that is everyday thing. Now it reached to the point where they are being murdered. How you want to run away, and you trying to get away, and then telling them to come back, just come back to what? When they made the reports, they were sent back to this. And another thing too, I find there is a twist that kind of turning the thing into a homosexual thing. This is abuse. This is people talking about break hand and having sex with people. This is not just some homosexual kind. I can't understand this twist that it's taken. This is murder. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Here a long time not speak.
Not hearing you very clearly.
Yeah. Brother David.
Yes, sir.
This thing with these fellas.
Yeah.
This is Brother Ulrich.
Brother Ulrich, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
Been a
Listen,
long
your
time.
program still on Monday and Tuesday?
No, sir. Only weekends for now. Mondays and Tuesdays. Sorry. Saturday mornings, 7 to 9. Sunday afternoons, 4 to 6. So Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh, because I keep scrolling for a program and I ain't hearing. I thought you was to get caught up.
But I am going to continue doing, well, at least this week coming, I'm going to do Facebook Live on my Facebook page on most likely Tuesday night. Monday's the holiday. Yeah, probably Tuesday night.
That's very good. Anyway, the matter with the two young guys that got killed, Brother David, this abuse thing going on for years in them homes. Remember they had a time that they had one somewhere up by Eddie Hadgrong, somewhere up there, with some boys in the school come out and was talking about the abuse and all of that.
Yeah.
That was some years. And this thing going on for so long, but you know why they're not paying a hand in it? It's because of, you know what, you raised. And then again, this school is a school in Westmoreland.
Which school?
Where's this home that this boy run away from?
No, I think I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's Valsane.
Valsane, right. Now look at that. You know, no police ain't running to that school to do investigation or nothing. But look at the difference with one in by Piaco Junction in Aruka with the man who they say had and all that.
Right.
You see how they're running? There was that, but in this other place now, you know, doing nothing like that. But Brother David, you know, we're already hurting me most of all, boy, and I don't want to watch dirty linen in public. I want to meet with you personally for me to discuss it. As a matter of fact, I'll send you a message so you'll get it. But you know what is truthful with this whole situation is the Emancipation Support Committee. That is a hurtful thing. I am so disappointed in them, brother. I am really disappointed in them. I don't want to watch dirty linen in public, so I will just leave it here until we meet and discuss. But Brother David, Trinidadians talk too much and act less. And that is the problem with this country here today. And people only thinking about politics, but not only politics, but party politics. Like either PNM till are dead and either UNC till are dead, and losing his sight a country. And that is what's going on. And if this thing continue to go on, Brother David, things will get so bad that we might come something like Germany or some other them far places. Anyway, Brother David, I look forward to hearing from you.
Yes.
I really want it very important. So we go link.
Yeah, well, I mean, come by the center and we'll talk, you know. All right.
When all right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, get back to me first.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Good. Good morning, caller.
Brother David, blessed
Yes, sir.
day.
Peace and blessings, my brother.
Yeah. Brother David, I've been listening since morning and trying to get on. Brother David, let me tell you something. Black people so backward. It's so dangerous. Black people don't realize the time we're living in is the footstool of revelation, Brother David. Satan have this world totally deceived. And the thing that make it worse is see adversaries and them, they're working for Lucifer direct. The Germans and them who run the secret society, they summon the forces of evil. And he have them and all these things to making them feel that this earth, you know, they own this earth and all the wealth and power and money they must dominate. Only for power them doing this mischief upon the universe and trying to listen. They have an agenda, Brother David, to reduce the earth by 3 billion people, at least 3 billion people. And unless they tag these people with this corona vaccine, which is really the mark of the beast, they wouldn't let people globally know, you know, until they start to kill them. Brother David, what you talking about? They have a ring where they're kidnapping people long time.
I tell you from long time, I had a youth man used to work with me, and when the thing get hard with me, the man leave and he go and work for the post. He tell me he have an office, a friend, where he gain work from. But the best joke, when he get too out of hand, right? His brother who was working with me tell me that this man he licked down over 15 men. The man back in no time when he come from jail. You know, my years, I tell you that. Yes, brother David, these things happen there. Listen, and that is in the secret society. And according to certain members, how loyal they is, once they take life already, how loyal they is, they give them that work. It's are people kidnapping people like, wow, all over the world, not only here, for body parts, all kind of experiments, all kind of things people doing, like if them and know that. This thing is real, and that's why I've been trying to talk about all the time. People talking about, yes, we need money and development or whatever, but the thing about it is we living in a time of times, right? And if we ain't conscious on the deception of Satan and the oath, all are we getting eat off easy one by one, because we ain't know how to come together. The only thing to bring we together is the truth, one common knowledge. We could go across the board, across all humanity. Because Satan really come out to destroy man and creation, and even his adversaries who working for him, right? He come out to destroy them too, right? But them feeling is everything is about power. And the Chinese, oh Lord, but these people in collaboration with the head of the secret society, the head agents and them, they're deceiving the Chinese to make them feel that they're part of the global supreme thing where they're trying to bring about with the computer, and they're looking to have everybody tag. And the Chinese now, them who producing all the Microsoftware for the white people, so to carry about this whole new world order. So they have to give the Chinese a part in the thing. You understand? Saying, and but the amount of things I listen like these things, and I have no way to talk. It's always sometimes I just try to get in your program and just do it and get in himself. So we'll be going more and more down in a pit by who will bring we out? Or let somebody listen, man. It's a secret society, a secret order, a secret agenda, everything being done in secret. And like we so blind we can't see nothing. And the people who could see, they only get shut off and locked down and all kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So oh God, we could just go more down in our pit. Like everybody here, like they had the insight to see, brother. I feel so. Especially in the black community, because you know what, coming from slavery, we hustling to get daily bread, to get money. That was causing me to can't form this movement, you know, because I'm hungry, I'm hustling to buy gas house, and they're beating me down with price. Once that foreigners come in the country, I can't get money like long time with this same molding. I the first freehand mason in Trinidad. Now, I went to the first, but I develop it to a higher level. I take it and I watch it, books, ancient Egyptian books, and I modernize it, bring it in a modern time, less cost scale where people could use it. That's why I do it, and it dominates the whole of Trinidad, you see, until the foreigners carrying it in the Caribbean and all kind of thing, right? I you develop that, Brother David. I the guy blind with a pastor, right? I tell him I want to talk about the government of God. He wanted me to market this molding things. I forget how we name my pastor did do our work for. All kind of things I'm doing to try to get help to manufacture the government of God and take back the earth from Lucifer. That is about it. It ain't nothing about no religion in this time and fighting about this. Listen, the money and the thing, material progress where we fighting for, we ain't have none of that. The earth going and run by the Spirit of the Almighty God. The government of God must come forward and run the earth and take away the earth from Lucifer since Adam and Eve sinned. Right? The tree of life was locked off from man. And who running this earth is Lucifer. And he bring this earth to this big material, you know, it's only invention and vanity and fantasy caught people mind. So we feel if we have some of that, we outdated, we outcast, we have nothing. But we have the earth by the spiritual power. Why think they want to recruit all them musicians under the Freemasonry?
Right.
Look, a little boy walking with me, brother. Wait. A little boy walking with me this week here, brother. David, the center up for him. And 2 days before, I said, boy, I just start to say, they will try to recruit you, because listen, that youth I was working with before, and good thing I was working music with them. They're sending up for them straight to try to realize that talent. Brother, they don't know how long them thing going on, and we just blind and like we don't know what's going on, and the people who know, they can't even talk, because I was tired. Again, no, I wouldn't say old, but days coming up for me again, tired. Nobody will help me with the government of God, and we only talking about things I'm going down more down in the hell.
All right, thank you. And Soldier Ants, you have made up for however many weeks you didn't get in, and I hear what you're saying. But there's just one thing that you say sometimes that a lot of people say that bothers me. And it is when we say, no one is helping me. You know, a lot of us get locked into that frame of mind where we consider it an impediment when no one else is helping us or helping our cause or what we're doing. I'd leave that there, but we have to get out of that. Do you think you have a government or a political system or a collection of politicians that care about people? Well, maybe they do, but not as a primary objective, as a secondary concern, if at all. We have to help ourselves. We must get up and do something for self. We must organize and not feel that we have to get anything else from anyone else. Caller, just have a few seconds. Caller, are you there? Yes.
Morning, sir.
Yes.
Morning.
Good morning. Just have a few seconds.
Yeah, okay, sorry. First time caller.
Welcome. Where are you calling from?
Yeah. Calling from Chaguanas.
Welcome, Chaguanas.
Yes, all I want to say is it have a system here in this world that wants to keep the black man down. Since from day one. Look at all these things happening in the media, on the news.
Yeah.
If it's something happening, they could just say gang related.
Exactly. And that is what we spoke about at the beginning. We've already identified that, yes, there's a system to keep black people down, but we have to think about a system to lift us right back up. So I'll be back on tomorrow for the Black Agenda, Sunday afternoons, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Stay tuned to the Street 919 FM. Assalamu alaikum.
On a quest for a better life, Jim searched far and wide. He knew that there was a secret that could keep him going. And until he found it, Jim swore he would not rest.
Yes! I find it!
I am the genie that makes things better. Make 3 wishes and I will deliver.
Jim asked for the secret, the one thing that could keep him going.
Oh, you need Nestle Nutrigo. You don't need me.
Get all the vitamins and nutrients you need to keep going with Nestle Nutrigo, a delicious protein-packed shake. Life is a go with Nestle Nutrigo. Available in 2 flavors, chocolate and vanilla. Nestle Nutrigo. Keep going.
You know that feeling when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of our secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control. All so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with a big bucket from KFC. 9 pieces of chicken and 4 regular size for only $115.
What cleans, degreases, removes stains, kills bacteria, and gives you that long-lasting freshness? Meet Ozon's 6-in-1 multi-purpose disinfectant cleaner. The power of Ozon.
Smile, beauty in every aisle to take care of your body. We have all you need to stay healthy.
gives you more to love.
Well. People, this is IWER George. Help us with the fight against COVID-19. Sanitize yourself.